Hey, mofos. Boom, boom. It doesn't even recognize me. Live chat. I haven't gotten the message that I'm live yet, I don't think. Let's see. I am live. Okay. Oofa. Yeah, I got shit around. I got ice. It's ice. Morning, Joe. It's ice around my head. I'm going to put on my headphones in a little bit. Let's go back. Claim it back. We're going to pull this up. Man, I got so much crap that I wrote down. Thursday. Super Micro. This was a good move. I think I bought it 270 to 300. I'll be adding to it because 350 is where I think it's going to. This one will cover the gap. Oh, I heard my voice, but it was from the other room. I thought it was this one. Okay. I'm going to do market scanner. No, we got tons of scans that have come through. Because scans AMD, XLY, HUFA, core investments, GOG, Meta, HUFA, covered call ETFs. Wow. Entries. NUSI, SPY, JEPI, XYLG, QYLG. What's XLY and Q? I don't know. That's an S&P covered call. That's a NASDAQ 100 covered call. That's interesting. Look at the NASDAQ 100 covered call. I mean, again, you're not talking huge moves in this. QYLG. This is 5.93% dividend. That's interesting. Energy names. Energy's pulling back again. Nothing in energy. Levered ETFs. Let's see. DRN. Talked about DRN. URTY. UPRO. SPXL. Levered ETFs, low cost Vanguard, VOO got in there. Oh, let's see. Vanguard ETF entries. VNQ, VEA, VB, VOO, VIG, VBK, VO, VTI, VXUS, RSP. Spider sectors. Wow, there's a lot in this one. XLRE, real estate. XLC, XLI, XLB. Now let's do the Dow. Oh, let me do my not owned. Airbnb. That's bouncing off the 200-day. Let's put that one in, because I do like that one. Daiku, Hua. Morning, Brandon. Fubo. For Sherry, Fubo has a cross up. In fact, I just read about Fubo on Micron. This one reported. Did they report? No, this is just going up with the chip sector. We can put this one in. I like this one. Jeppy, we've got Fastly. I think I've got that one already. BYDDF, this is the BYD, this is the car company. Jumia, which is the Amazon of Africa. Thermo Fisher. Starwood. Morning, Nevin. But just by the way, since everyone's joining now, I've got ice around my. I'm in pain, so. But it's not like pain like, oh my God, I'm dying. It's pain like sore. Ooh, Baba. Baba's got a cross up. Meta? Meta's in our... Oh, it is up there. Okay. ETHE cross up. K-Web. I mean, Jesus, there's so much. Delta Airlines at 42. This one's going back to 46 at some point. PFF, Baidu. I mean, there's so much that crossed up. Let's look at the Dow. And then I'll start the podcast. But I got so much to freaking go over. IBM. Intel. That's an interesting one. Let's look at the NASDAQ's going to have freaking everything. Meta, Old Dominion Freight Line, Biogen. That's an interesting one with a cross up. Intuit just right before earnings, man. Intuit has been just from 470 to 500. AMD. We're going to put AMD. Oh, I got AMD down there already because I own it. Autodesk. ADSK. Fast and all. Airbnb. Dexcom. Okay. Dexcom, Intel, GFS, Google, O'Reilly, Verisk. Okay, let's look at the S&P. I will not do Philip Morris. I hate that company. Lindy, Thermo Fisher, AMD, Meta. Okay. I got tons. I mean, I just got tons. Okay. We're going to go back to the strategy tester. Do the 4-hour. Let's see, IONQ. Let's look. It is up 1%. 1469 was the buy. You're trading at 1625 right now, it looks like. Hey, how about SMCI yesterday? That's about as risky as your boy is gonna be. NVIDIA, by the way, is dipping down under 500 as we head into the market open. So get ready. It's. My guess is we see some selling on that name. I sold last night. I didn't sell out, but I sold some. Let's look at SPY real quick. Oh, SPY. Let's look at QQQ. We talked about the Qs yesterday, leading us with that cross up. And TQQQ, if you got TQQQ yesterday, you did really well. Poor Zephin. Should have told him yesterday. Just buy out of SQQQ. Just sell it. Buy TQQQ and try and make up the difference. Okay. I'm going to take this off. Oh, I didn't change the title of this. Oh, that's why I didn't change the title. I need to go in. Let me see. Let's see. I think I can change the title live. Zephin, man. I wish I would have told you to get out of... the mouth. Hold on, let's go to YouTube Studio. And we're going to go to content. And we're going to go to live. And we're going to change this to 824. And I didn't put it. NVIDIA. TQQQ, Snow, SMCI. What else was there? There we go. Save. Let's see if it changes. I think it'll change it live. I don't know. But let me open up the podcast here. We'll close that down. Savvy Trader here. We're going to go back to 0. And we got Savvy Trader. We've got... Oh, I've got Savvy Trader over here. Okay. Home. Redo this one. We'll go back over here. This is yesterday's. Share. Let me see if I can copy. And then. Okay, perfect. It gave it to me well. I'm going to put this in. And we're going to put that in there. And then I'm going to copy image. There we go. That's yesterday's heat map. And we'll go back here. Zephin, Here's what my journal would say in that, and my trading journal, if I were in that shoes, is I'd take the loss, and I'd say, when I have a full-time job, I'm not trading triple levered ETFs, other than when I have time to actually get out of them. It's not a bad play when you know the direction of the market, but the direction of the market, like we saw, can change so drastically. It's just hard. I mean, life gets in the way. Okay, let me organize my notes a little bit. Okay, SPY. How about shop? We're gonna put this all down at the bottom. I'm gonna put that down at the bottom because I'm not going to read this. Bought shop, Netflix, Meta, Mullen, Oppenheimer pushes Netflix, Target. Earnings. Autodesk, Snowflake earnings. NVIDIA, Splunk beat earnings. Okay, Palantir, Fastly, AI. There we go. Ulta. There we go. Okay. AFRM, Ulta, MRVL. Did Marvel already? Let me see Marvel. Did they already report? No, it's tonight. Okay. Workday. Okay. Yeah, it's all tonight. Okay. By the way, if anyone wants to sign up for Webull, here's the link. I'm going to pin it. Pin. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I've got that one. I've got the newsletter. I've got Savvy Trader up. I got SPY. I have Active Trader Pro. Okay, I think I'm going to go into the podcast now. I've got the S&P. Snowflake, NVDA, Palantir, Fastly, AI, TQQQ, Meta, back over 300. There we go. Of the 5-week, Jerome Powell and Jackson Hole is the only thing left, I think, left to happen. I think that's true. Let's see. No, it's the day before. It's this one. I said top 5 things. NVIDIA, Jerome Powell speaking, 10-year yields, Japan, China, Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues to hold above the $25,000 level. Its next major technical support. Rumors that something is coming with Binance have been swelling as technicians just watch the 25,000 level. If it holds, price can retest 28,000, which is true. If 5,000 breaks, if $25,000 breaks, 20,000 will be the next stop. Yep. That's it. Okay. Why am I feeling feverish? God, my ass hopes I don't have that dry socket. Who had dry socket? Somebody had dry socket that was listening in here. I had hell of a day yesterday. I ate ice cream all day. Okay, let's do this. Good morning. It's Thursday, August 24th. Something happened yesterday, other than me sitting on the couch all day with ice on my head. If you want to see me with ice on my head, the beginning of the YouTube Live, the extended version, I've got a wrap around my head. Your boy's not doing that great. The pain has kicked in. But yesterday we got NVIDIA earnings. Here, I'm going to start out with the heat map from yesterday. I mean, look at the heat map. Just, it was the grade 8 again. It was Microsoft up 1.4, Apple up 2.19, NVIDIA was up 3% before they had earnings. Google was up 2.7%. Tesla was up. The big red dot in the middle here, that's Nike, down 2.67 with Foot Locker bringing them down. Nike continues to be a drag. Over here in the red, you got healthcare and energy. Energy continues to be brought down. Agriculture continues to be brought down. You got United Health down. But overall, if you're in the tech sector, if you're in financials, even financials bounced back. Berkshire, BRK.B. Home Depot, you can see it was up 0.5%. Starbucks was down 0.93. So you still have some opportunities in this market. The biggest thing that happened yesterday was SPY. SPY got a cross up in the afternoon. Now, does that mean we're completely out of this August doldrums? No. I will post in the newsletter an article with all of the things. It's a Seeking Alpha article. Let me find the link right here. Macro sentiment says sell VOO before September. This is a great article. This is, CPI's not done. So we haven't beaten inflation. Fed to keep rates raising, to keep putting pressure. They want consumers to stop spending. That's essentially it. All around the world, Chinese deflation. We talked about Japan, troubles in Japan, why we likely will fall in autumn, and how crazy it was the first half of the year. Big tech dominating VOO. Remember, VOO is just the S&P 500. It's a tracking stock. And so the top 7 big tech companies have been just driving that. So conclusions, I'll post this in the newsletter. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, it's dailystockpick.substack.com. It's a free newsletter. You get it every day around noontime. I send it out. It's the notes from the podcast. And do I think we're done with this? No. And you can see, we talked about yesterday, TQQQ was the play, triple levered on the Qs, because if you go to the Qs, we had a cross up yesterday. So I do think that we're going to see a little bounce here. I don't think that we're going to be taken down. On Tuesday, I posted in the newsletter, there were 5 things to look for. The only thing that's really left that you really have to look for this week is Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow at Jackson Hole. I think it's nothing burger. I don't think that there's anything that really happens. Here you can see in QQQ in the 4-hour, we've got a gap up here between 379 and 383. I don't know that you necessarily get back there. I think the 50-day, which is at 372, you're trading at 372 right now. I think that's going to provide a little resistance if you're looking to day trade and you're looking for short-term trades and you're looking for something tomorrow. If we close above 372 on QQQ, I think then you have this gap here in view. But only then do I think you have it in view. If you're in at 363 on QQQ, great. I mean, if you bought TQQQ yesterday, or when the algorithm said to buy at 37.98, right now in pre-market, you're at 40.69. Like I said, this thing loves 40 these days. It loves to sit around 40. So if you're trading around, under 40, buying under 40 and then selling over, you can see the gap between 43 and 44 right there, 43 and 45. But that's the overall market. So you're going to have bad news. You're going to have good news. You're always going to have this kind of conflicting stuff, and people will always tell you it's overvalued. People will always tell you, you want to get out. They'll try and scare you. That's the great thing about the market is there's give and take on both sides. So what did I do yesterday? Well, first thing I did yesterday in the morning, I bought Shopify. I bought Shopify at $56.60. If you are subscribed on Savvy Trader is free, by the way. This is the greatest journaling website. It's free. You sign up for free. And if you're subscribed to my trading portfolio, you got an email that I bought Shopify yesterday. We can go in here and look at the history. Bought Shopify at $56.65. It's now 2% of this portfolio. Where is it? It's now at $57.27. The algorithm had a buy-in here at $55.88. I said yesterday it was capitulating around here. It got confirmation. Your boy bought more. I like this one to go to 70 or 80 at some point in time this year. If we look at a long term on this one, we go to a weekly chart on Shopify. You can clearly see we haven't regained that 200. That 200 is at 79.26. That is going to provide significant resistance right there. But here in the 50s, I thought it was time to pull the trigger. So I bought Shopify. That was the first thing I did. What did your boy do second? Your boy bought more NVIDIA. Didn't put it in the trading portfolio. But this is part of my thing is I don't put everything in the trading portfolio, just some things. But I bought more NVIDIA. I didn't think it was important enough to tell people about. And the reason being, I don't tell you guys everything. One of the things that I want to teach you in this podcast is don't listen to a douche on the internet. When I say I bought stuff, I bought Sedge. I've held on to it. It's buy and hope. It's a bad strategy that I've done. But you can see my mistakes and my wins. NVIDIA is one that I've been winning at. And so I just loaded up a little bit more. It wasn't much, maybe about $5,000-6,000. Just bought a little bit more before the earnings. I just had a feeling. And here's the thing. I didn't mind buying at around, I think it was around 460, 469, 470, somewhere in that neighborhood. But I bought a little bit more because I didn't feel, even if they got dropped back down to 400, that I could buy, $5,000-10,000 more. I said it yesterday. If this thing dropped, it was going to be the buying opportunity of the century, and you should load up on it. But I bought a little bit more of that. Then what did I do? Well, and I've been saying this for at least a couple of days. This was brought to me earlier, I think about a month ago, 2 months ago. Maybe it was around the last NVIDIA earnings time. SMCI. Now, if you know anything about SMCI, you know that they trade in line with NVIDIA. It's kind of a little bit of a, what would you call it? It's kind of, it's the baseball to the bat. It's kind of complementary. Not 100%, but, you can hit a baseball with anything, that's kind of like a stick, but you want a bat. That's what SMC is like. So I bought more of this, and I bought it, I think at around 270. I bought it literally at the end of the day. I have a note, 278.60. I wanted to buy something other than NVIDIA because if NVIDIA pulled back, the valuation on NVIDIA is crazy. It's just nuts. If we go to SMCI, the valuation on SMCI, the forward PE is 14. It's not crazy. The forward PE on NVIDIA is 40. So SMCI to me said, okay, they trade in line. The last time, when you take a look at the chart, This gap right here, that was NVIDIA earnings the last time. I said, you know what? I think this gap up here from SMCI earnings is going to get filled. I put it out on Twitter. I said I thought it was going to be a good play. Turns out it is a good play. 296. I bought it 270. I think it got up to like 310 in pre-market. So SMCI was another one. It went nuts. So what did I do with NVIDIA, my stuff? Well, and I went over this, and I got a bunch of questions about, should I sell NVIDIA? Should I sell it? Should I sell it? Did it pop? I am never going to tell you what you should do. You should know what you're going to do before you buy this stuff. If you bought it yesterday before earnings and you're questioning, should I sell it now? That means you're not effectively trading. If you didn't put a target as to where you're going to sell it, if you didn't say, you know what, I'm going to take 5%, I'm going to take 10%, I'm going to take 2%. If you didn't say that, then hold on to it. If you want to hold on to it. If you have to make up your own mind before you buy it. It's not like you go out and buy a car and then say, should I keep it? Well, you bought the freaking car. You bought the stock. Should you keep owning it? That's a completely personal decision. So with NVIDIA, what I did, I didn't want a tax event because, part of my NVIDIA holding is in my brokerage account. So I sold about half of my retirement account that I had NVIDIA in. Took some profits, and my belief is that we will get back to probably about 470. Remember last time how we said, and it's going to kind of take this trend. So last earnings, it gapped from 307 to 366. Today, it's going to gap from 470 to say 500. I don't know where it's going to open. It's not open yet. But the gap open is going to be about 470 to 500. We drew this line and we said, wait for 3 days. If it doesn't break this line, it won't go back and retest that gap. That's the trend that I'm looking for. I'm looking for this gap up and then for it to pull back to 470. If it pulls back to 470, I'll buy more. I will buy more. If it enters that gap in the next 3 days, I'll probably buy more just above 470, but I'm going to buy more. Again, I sold at 505. I think I sold one at 510, one at 505. So I didn't time it correctly. I think it got up to like 520, and I think it could get to 520 on hype when the market opens. I think people will start buying this. I think you're going to see a big uptrend. Then I think you're going to see a big downtrend on this one as people start selling and taking profits. But I will draw another line on this when we get to it. It's kind of how I'm playing things in this market today. Taking profits when it's not taxable is to my situation something that's good. If you want to know my tax situation, sign up for the newsletter and what I learned from the markets in July and August. It's a paid newsletter. It's the weekend newsletter that I put out with some more personal things, some more educational things that you can learn from. It's $80 a year. I mean, that's not a lot for some of the education that I give you guys. So I put a lot more time into the weekend newsletters. Trust me, I'm not making a lot of money at that one, compared to the time that I put in. But NVIDIA, it's over. It's done with. Let me go down to my NVIDIA stuff. I will include the Stock Market Nerds NVIDIA chart. The one thing that kind of threw me was this note that I read. $13.5 billion. Let's remember that 3 months ago, NVIDIA hiked guidance from $8 billion to $11 billion. That was 3 months ago. They said, we're not going to make $8 billion in the next quarter. We're going to make $11 billion. Their revenue last quarter was just $7.2 billion. So the company's doubled in size in 90 days. That's what AI is doing. That's why NVIDIA, the value of NVIDIA is probably going to continue to go up. That's why I don't mind buying at these high levels. That was the note that I saw. Now, if you wanted to play yesterday, we talked about it a little bit. If you wanted to just play the earnings and you thought there were going to be good earnings NVDL, crazy good play yesterday. You could have gotten in if you timed it at the day's low. So yesterday, the day's low was 91.18. 91.18. It went up to, let's see, in pre-market, it's at 107 right now. I think it was at 110 when I looked at it. Easy 20%. Easy 20%. So NVDL was the one. Know your levered single stock ETFs when you're playing these things. It's a good opportunity. Let's talk about some individual stocks again. Rivian dipped under 20. I'm going to dip my toe in this one. It's down 0.3. I think under 20, I'm going to dip my toe in. 21.02 was the cross up here, and that was Monday. I was getting my wisdom teeth out on Monday, so I did not have the newsletter or anything. But 21.02 was the buy-in. You're still in. I'm going to buy under 20. It doesn't have confirmation. It's completely oversold right now at 33. The MACD is way down here. It's the best electric truck company maker. I like it. They make a ton of trucks for Amazon. I think they're going to do really well. I think they don't need to tap the capital markets. So I don't think that they'll really be affected by higher interest rates, other than selling to consumers is going to be an issue with higher rates. Mara, lovely Mara. Let's talk about Mara. Mara was up 7%. It's up 1%. It's at 1186. If you got it under 10, did you have it under 11? Probably a great play. You can see that 200-day. If it breaks that 200-day again and regains the 9-day, I think you're going to be fine. I think that then Bitcoin comes back up, and I think you're back up to 16. So watch Mara. Netflix, you guys know I'm in long on Netflix. I bought right before the earnings on a TrendSpider suggestion of a strategy, 441. I think I got it around that price. I'm not exactly sure. And then it went up to almost 500, 470. It's at 430, 427 right now it's trading at. Netflix shares climbed 5.4% after Oppenheimer reiterated the stream giant's outperform rating, noting that there's a path back to double-digit revenue growth. Let me see. I thought I had more Netflix notes in here. Maybe I don't. Maybe that's it. I thought there was one other Netflix upgrade. Let me see. I'm looking at my notes. Nope. I guess that's it. But Netflix, don't fall asleep on Netflix. Here's the thing. Remember, Netflix is one of the great. I put it in the grade 8, so it's not part of the magnificent mother effer, Magnificent 7. It's not part of that. Netflix is the one that I added, and I call the grade 8. I think it's fantastic. I think they will recognize additional revenues from the password sharing. I think they will continue to increase their base. I think this one's a good one to get. Let's talk about Meta, which is part of the grade 8. Meta was under 300. It is closing at, looks like in pre-market, it's still under 300. Get it while it's under 300. I am going to put in the newsletter an article that says there's 3 stocks, and Meta is one of them, that you can just load into that will be $1 trillion company. I completely agree. Completely agree. Meta is shares of the tech firm gained 3% after Bank of America reiterated its buy rating on the stock. The Wall Street firm said the stock could see renewed enthusiasm on 2024 upside potential. They just released the Threads online web portal. It's disappointing, as is most of the new stuff that Facebook puts out. But it's interesting. I do get some newsletter readers when I post on Threads. So I've noticed that people are able to find me a little bit more on Threads. Interesting. Now, our resident aeronautics expert, Joe, has been playing Mullen, and he posted in the private Facebook group, toot toot, is anyone on the Mullen train? Mullen soared yesterday. I mean, look at this, that candle of 84%. 84%. You could have bought Mullen at 42 cents yesterday. At its high, it was 88 cents. So you could have made 100% if you bought at the open and just closed at the high. 100%. It went nuts. I do feel bad when I tell people not to own this one, but don't own it. Trade it. Trade it like Joe does on the 65-minute algorithm. 65-minute algorithm yesterday. Let's run this one. It gave Joe a trigger. Joe pulled the trigger. Joe's probably making a ton of money off of this one. Gave you a trigger at 48 cents. You're up at 87, 89 cents. Here in pre-market, you're at 75 cents. There is nothing in this name. All that happened was the CEO published a letter to shareholders saying he's disappointed in the share price and that they're going after short sellers. That's all that happened. There wasn't anything else that happened. That's why I say do not own this stock, trade it. Because if that's the case and it's going up that much just based on that, this is 100% a hype trade. So trade it. I'm not saying don't ever, go into it, but trade it. Just don't own it. Don't sit there and wait for it to go up because it's not. You're not going to be in on these hype. But if you want to be like Joe and trade that 65-minute algorithm, sign up for TrendSpider. I include it free when you sign up for TrendSpider. Let's talk about some other earnings from yesterday. Autodesk, ADSK. This is one, they came in strong. They're up 7% pre-market. The algorithm has a cross-up, and we'll talk about more cross-ups. I mean, there's so many cross-ups. What I noticed is this gap up here that's been filled, but I think you could get to 216. Autodesk, I don't know too much about it. I think it's one of the stock nerds, the stocks that he likes. It's under the 200-day. It has been capitulating here all the way since April. And since April, it's just been sitting there at around 200. So the 200-day is at 230. That's where the VWAP is if you bring it all the way back here. The volume shelf has been built here. There's really nothing bringing it up, but they had really good earnings. $1.91 a share. So I like that one. Now, one that I do own and I do know a little bit about is Snowflake. Beat revenue estimates by 1.8%. Beat EBITDA estimates by 224%. This was a spectacular quarter. This one has confirmation, 151. You can look for this one. It's going to open up at 161. This is going to cover this gap to 165. It's going to cover that gap to 165. The next gap up is at 175. My estimation is that this gets to 180 and rejects again. It gets to 180 and rejects again. If we just look at a weekly on this one, it's still a fairly new stock. So it doesn't even have a 200-day, so I can't tell you, oh my God, it's rejecting here. But look at 180. I mean, here you got up to 190, rejected. Here you got up to about 180, rejected. Here you got up to about 185, 190, rejected. So if you buy this at 155 or say you buy it at 161 today, you're going to get to 180. It's going to reject again. So if you want to trade this one, I think that's the one. Snowflake did say that their contracts are getting better, blah, blah, blah. We'll look for a little bit of the stock nerds commentary on it. But I like this stock. I own this, and I think my average share price, to be honest with you, is about 180 because I bought it, I think back here somewhere. As it was going down, I bought it. But I like this one. I like it a lot. Splunk, SPLK. This is one where I had friends working at this company, so I used to trade this one pretty well. But I haven't recently. It had the cross up here at $98. It's trading at $113 right now. This was one that they announced 71 cents per share earnings. I was expecting it. I didn't expect it to use the 200-day as well as it did. I thought it was going to dip under. But I have traded this one in the past. I like it. They did really well on earnings. So just understand this one's doing really, really well. Let's talk GES. Guess. Yesterday we talked about Abercrombie and Finch. kind of blowing it out of the water. But guess, this is they had earnings. They are up 17% in pre-market. 17%. It's trading at 21. That crosses the 200-day. Look at this. You started to fill this gap all the way down here to 1737. It never made it. Yesterday, it kind of, it came down to as low as it looks like 1792. So it started to fill this gap. Then all of a sudden they reported earnings. You are now in pre-market up in this area, 2145. So you've covered even this gap. I mean, there's nothing to say about this one other than, they killed it on every level. So retailers, it's super, super clear. Retailers are a case of have and have nots. Target, for instance, have not. They just haven't done well with their inventories. Foot Locker, have not. They haven't done well with their inventories. Abercrombie and Finch, killing it. Absolutely killing it. Nike, not doing well. Guess, doing really well. Really well. We talked about NVIDIA, me selling half of it. Let's look at Palantir. I think a lot of these names. So my understanding of how AI will go, and this is just my understanding, and listen, do not listen to a douche on the internet. Don't listen to somebody who doesn't really know. But my understanding of how it's happening is NVIDIA is creating the hardware for all of this AI. And as they're creating this hardware, people, even Snowflake mentioned that they're just buying NVIDIA chips, but they're not using them all. So they're hoarding these chips. So as NVIDIA makes these chips, people are buying them because they can't get their hands on them. There's going to be a point in time where NVIDIA is going to have a glut of chips on the market. Not saying that that's anytime soon, but I do think sometime next year we will see a glut of these NVIDIA chips that are on the market. And you're going to see this. Snowflake, Palantir, and other software companies, they're taking those chips and building the software that works off of those chips. So to enhance AI, Cloudflare, all those software companies that do all of the cloud stuff, they're the ones doing it, Amazon. So that's the next leg. That's the one that you want to get into. Microsoft, Google, Facebook, all of those folks that are doing it. Palantir is one that's using data. Snowflake is one that's using data. That's where you want to be. Palantir right now is up 3%, 1578. I think this one's got 20, like we talked about from a long-term perspective. I'm in on this one. I'm in fairly big, not huge. I think it's, a high four-figure, but it will be probably a five-figure very soon because I do like this turnover here. That's starting on the weekly to get a confirmation here, and I like this company a lot. Fastly, FSLY. This one had a cross up. I believe it had a cross up, but they are up they were up in pre-market. They're just not up right now. Let's see. They're up 0.81. I saw this one kind of flying. It's got a cross up. I like it. What happened with NVIDIA is the C3 AI company. All of these AI companies got brought up. Not as much as NVIDIA's up, but C3 AI is up 3%, and it's all on NVIDIA. And if you look at C3 AI, it touched the 200-day. We talked about this one being a $40 stock and it being overly optimistic. I think you can buy this at 32, to be honest with you, and probably ride it up to 40 again. I think this company, their earnings are coming out, it looks like September 6th. So they're coming out. What happened on their last earnings? All they did was talk about AI, and it shot up from about 31 to about almost 50. So over a couple of weeks. So I think that's one to keep an eye on. TQQQ we talked about. T-Mobile says it plans to cut 5,000 jobs. Nice. The market, again, the job market is getting cut down, which is what the economy needs. TQQQ, if you're in this one, again, I'd say if it dips under 40, I think you get it. If it dips back over 40, you get it. Big news. LJIM, LJIM. This is the long ETF that tracked Jim Cramer's buys. SJIM is the short Jim. So it would short anything that he said he was buying. LGIM would buy anything that he said he was that he didn't like. Or I'm sorry, LGIM bought, LGIM went long Jim Cramer. SGIM went short Jim Cramer. So if he said he liked something, they would short it. If he said he didn't like something, SGIM would actually buy it. SGIM is still in play. You know what's shutting down? LGIM. Nobody believes in it. So nobody believes in long Jim Cramer. Tonight's earnings. One that I particularly am interested in because I do hold a position. I think it's a couple $1,000. It's not a ton, but it's Ulta. Ulta's a little bit sketchy on this one because we talked about retailers, the have and have nots. Have they managed their inventory correctly? This one, I think I'm in at about 440 something. It is on Savvy Trader. In fact, let's look. When did I buy Ulta? TSLQ. I don't have my Ulta buy in here. I know I've got it. Comment on portfolio. I guess I didn't put Ulta in here. But Ulta is part of my, you can see here it's down 3.88%. Allocation is 6% of the portfolio there. Ulta long term, you've still got, I mean, here's the thing. Ulta probably is putting in some type of support around 400. Today, it's a little concerning because you have had this slide from 540 down to 440. ELF, we talked about it with Sherry before. Sherry, again, our resident makeup expert. Sherry said buy ELF instead of Ulta. She was 100% correct. 100% correct. Look at ELF, January, $54. You're at $124 right now. So, and you had the same kind of pullback. Now, ELF has had their earnings already. Ulta was mentioned in the target as to the target earnings as to one of the upsides to target. Affirm, AFRM. This is buy now, pay later. You may see a BNPL. That's buy now, pay later. This is a company that is doing this. I'm not a big believer in this one. This would, their big thing was Peloton, and you saw what happened to Peloton yesterday. You got gaps all the way up on this one. I don't like these services. I think, Apple has something like this. Amazon has something like this. It's too easy to get into. But what they're doing is they're basically telling they go to a retailer, and like Peloton, they say, you know what? Sell us the bike for 20% less. And we'll have the consumer pay us monthly, and we accept the risk of non-payment. So it's a little bit different. Marvel Technologies, MRVL, reports tonight. This one, again, you've got this gap down here that worries me a little bit, but I don't think I'm worried too much about it. I think they'll do fine. I think they'll bring up AI, and I think they'll just do perfectly fine. They may see a flat if they blow it away like NVIDIA does, blah, blah, blah. Workday has a cross up, 231.11 right before earnings. This is a personnel software company. I see it on the PGA. They do a ton of advertising on the PGA. It's been, look at it since October 2022. You were down at 143. You're up at 230 right now. In 2021 at its peak, this is a $286 stock. I think you get back up there. I think you get back up there at some point in time. It's too good a company. You dip down below that 200-day, and you came right back. That 50 days about to make that golden cross. I think it's a good company. Watch the earnings. If you like this company, if you use the software, understand you should absolutely buy it. Sedge, Quinn on our Facebook group said, hey, what are you doing with Sedge? Well, Sedge is one of these stocks that, like I said, this is one of my errors. It is 100% a buy and hold strategy for me. I think it's a long-term play for me. I liked it here to get back to 300. To get back to 300, it's going to take a lot. But I do think this gap here between 206 and 238 gets filled. This is a solar company. And here's what's happening with solar as an industry overall. You have a real problem with the interest rates right now. People aren't going to pay, $80,000 for a solar array on their house if it's not financed, if there's not some type of government incentive, if there's not some type of utility agreement. So in California, for instance, with Enphase, California solar industry was hurt when the utility started saying, you know what? We can't pay you 14 cents per kilowatt hour or whatever it is that you pay just because you feed it back into the grid. You have to pay for the grid. So rather than 14 cents, the utilities are like, we'll only pay you 3 cents per kilowatt hour for everything that you feed back onto the grid. Well, that reduces your payback on solar. That's what's happening in California. When you have to pay 8% interest rates on your solar loan because, you put $50,000 worth of solar on your roof, that's hitting the solar industry. So Sedge, for me, I like it to fill this gap. Now, I bought above this gap. I bought at about, I think, 260, 255, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I'm way down on this one. It was a very small play. I want to say like $1,200. It wasn't much for me at all. I'm sitting here holding it. I'd like to get it to long term because if I can write it off against long term, I'll write it off against long term. I don't mind that. And that's a tax term, by the way, write off. You can the tax harvesting. You can do that kind of thing. But that's what I'm doing, Quinn. I wouldn't buy into this thinking that it's going to get confirmation it's coming back up. Solar as an industry has a problem, and that problem is higher interest rates. And so Sedge, even though they're focused in Europe and other areas, I still think they've got a problem. I'm going to post a great article on 3 stocks, predictable 3 unstoppable stocks set to join Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, and NVIDIA in the $1 trillion market club. Those are Meta, a podcast favorite, Oracle, and Tesla. There's a great article on VTI versus VTO. If you don't know, VTI is the total market index, Vanguard. VOO is the S&P. It's a great article. If you're ever into ETF and you want to put like 50% of your portfolio into a low-cost ETF, VTI and VOO are your 2 top picks. This article does a great job of looking at both of them and what's the differences between the two. What is the return on the two? Which one should you be in? It's the pros and cons. Great article. I really like that one. And I'll put that in the newsletter. Like I said, with Seeking Alpha, I'll put in this article about what's bad in the market. You can read this one, scare yourself out of your mind. Now let's talk about, and there's a few other articles that I'll put in as well. Scans. Let's talk about scans. GOOG or GOOGL, both of them got a cross up. Absolutely, both of them got a cross up. You're looking at, it's down. GOOG is up 1%, 134. I continue to say buy it under 130. Do not buy this on the way up. Buy it under 130. But it got a cross up here at 133. Are you upset next year when you buy 5 shares of Google at 133 instead of 130? Because 5 shares is $15. That's a $15 difference. So just go ahead and buy it. NVIDIA under 500 again. It's at 492. So kudos to me. Right play. It's gonna sell off. I'm telling you. AMD. We have a cross up. This is all because of NVIDIA, by the way. All 100% because of NVIDIA. NVIDIA is driving this market. AMD had a cross up here. I'm in at about 109, I think, is my average purchase price. You're trading at 109.50. So I'm right there. This is a long-term buy for me. This was, I've got several lots of this. In fact, I bought, I think, even some down at 91. And I think I bought some at about 120. So I'm all over the place on this one. I'm dollar cost averaging it. I believe in this one like I believe in NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the king. AMD is the queen. XLY. XLY is consumer discretionary. I've got this one in our daily stock core portfolio, which you can also, by the way, follow on Savvy Trader. If you go back, I've got 2 portfolios in Savvy Trader. I've got the core portfolio, which is just if you've got 20 stocks that you want to buy and you fill out your portfolio, This core portfolio, it's even weighted. It's 100 shares of everything. You can just look at the stock symbols, pick out which ones you want. The only one that I say don't buy and own is Moderna. Moderna is a trade, and it's in there as a trade. But XLY has a, this is the consumer discretionary. I have it in our core portfolio. I like this one. It hasn't performed like XLK, but I do like that one. Speaking of VOO versus VTI, VOO has a cross-up. And I like to say this because it tracks the S&P 500. So when the S&P 500 and SPY has a cross-up, VOO likely will have a cross-up as well. Again, I like it to, if we close above that 50-day at some point in time at 411, I think you can look to cover this gap up here at 417. Until then, I think this provides the resistance level. Meta, get it under 300. I don't care what price you get it, but Meta, get it under 300. Right now, it's trading at 295. Just buy it under 300. You won't regret it. I mean, again, if you're going to trade this one, you might lose some money, but 295 is where it's trading. The cross up happened at 296. DRN, which is our triple levered ETF on the real estate market. DRN had a cross up. Speaking of XL and the spider sectors, XLRE, which is the real estate sector, had a cross up as well. DRN is up 2% in pre-market. It had a cross up at 846. It's trading at 866. I don't think that you'll have a problem buying this one because home builders, look at Toll Brothers earnings, 77% increase year over year in contracts signed. That's just crazy. The real estate sector is going nuts, but DRN is a triple levered ETF. And like I said, now here's some other ETFs, URTY, which is a, I think this is Ultra. Yeah, Ultra on the Russell 2000. So the IWM, this is small and medium caps. All of this is indicating that we may be turning the August doldrums into a little bit of a bounce. It might be a false bounce, but it indicates right now URTY is down 1.39. The cross up was at 39.60. It's at 39.04. Like I said, I will only buy stuff that has confirmation. If it's not above that 9-day, do not, hope and pray and say, I'm going to try and time this bottom. Wait for the confirmation. Miss the first 5%. Get the second 10%. Just miss it. Just be patient. Patience is part of being a trader and an investor. But UPRO, which is the Ultra Pro, which is 3 times levered the S&P 500, 46.33 was the cross up. It's at 46.54. Again, that 50-day is probably going to provide some resistance at 48 if we get up that high. But right now you can see the 200-day is providing you support on this. SPXL, XLRE, XLC, XLRI, Airbnb, ABNB. All of these cross-ups and all of these bullish stocks will be in the newsletter for you. So sign up for the newsletter at dailystockpick.substack.com. I'll include them at the end. You can use whatever charting platform you use. My suggestion, if you do not have TrendSpider, use the link that's down below or in the newsletter. Sign up for Webull. Sign up for Webull. It has the best desktop software for charting. You can chart all of my stocks that I give you in the newsletter in Webull and decide if they have confirmation, if they have stuff that you want. Here's Airbnb, 128.65. You're trading at 128. I think it's clear that 200-day is going to provide you some support. I think that 50-day moving down around this gap, it could potentially come to that gap. Their earnings are already gone. It's an oversold stock. You're getting a bounce off this MACD. It could be taking a leg up. I like this one. Sherry likes Fubo. Fubo is an online TV provider. They are probably, I think they're number 3 in the market or number 2. I'm not quite sure, but Fubo, being an ex-cable employee, executive, I know something about this stuff. I'm not a big believer in this one, but you can absolutely trade this stock. 210 is where it crossed up. 2.095. I've been looking at NFL Sunday Ticket and how to get it. Fubo is giving 1 free month away, and you get the Red Zone channel with it for 1 free month. So this article was like, why wouldn't you do it? BABA. Let's talk about China. China. Name the politician. China. We got China. But BABA has a cross up here and this one's going back to 100. 100% it's going back. It's using that 200 day. You're down at 90.68. Just buy it. It's going to go back to 100. You might go down to 70. You might go down to 80. But BABA's going back to 100. If you want a quick 10%, just buy it at $90. Delta, DAL. I like this one because people are spending on airlines. DAL will cover this gap. You'll see a gap come up here at 46. It's trading at about 42, 41 right now. But Delta Airlines, people are spending on experiences. The fall flying season is traditionally very weak. So this one's pulling back on that. It will get back to 46. This gap here between 46.86 and 47.36, it'll come back there. 42, I don't know if this is the bottom. I don't know if this is a great cross up, but on this one, I do like it. Here's what you have to understand. My 4-hour algorithm on Delta Airlines. If you just bought Delta Airlines 24 months ago, 2 years ago, you've made 1.8%. Hey, great. Kudos to you. Because you know what? The stock market is way outbeating that. But you know what? If you traded in and out, there's 26 positions in Delta. 26 positions over 24 months in this algorithm. So 26 times it got you in. With those 26 positions, you've made 54%. So trust this algorithm on this stock, 42, 41. I like this one here. One that came up, there's IBM, Intel, Autodesk we talked about, DXCM. I like this cross up. This is Dexcom. I like this cross up, but here's my warning. It doesn't have confirmation over that 9-day. Right now, the buy-in was 105.98. This was yesterday. Today, it opened up at 104.40. So it's up slightly from where it closed yesterday. It closed yesterday at 103.99. So it's up slightly. I would wait until you get over this 9-day. Now, this yellow line that you see up here on Dexcom, I went over it yesterday. This is where I've told my father, get in and get out. So get in under it, get out when it's over it. It's 125. I think that's where you get into Dexcom and you get out. That 125 is absolutely 100% a resistance level. Now, here's what you have to understand. That 50-day crossing down on this 200 is a bearish signal. And that was just 3 days ago? This could have a problem. So do not jump into this one. I think you wait until it gets over that 9-day. But I do like this company. I like this cross up. And I like the opportunity here. Okay. Super Micro Systems. I've got a great article. If you don't know what it is, it's one that I put in there that I bought yesterday. I bought a few shares of it, not too many, but I bought it right before close. It's up a little bit. Let's see where it's up because NVIDIA is pulling back. SMCI as the symbol for Super Micro. This one is Oh, this one came all the way back to 277. Hoofa. This was up at 300 pre-market, so it's all the way back at 277. Honest to God, I think it's covering this gap. In my mind, it's covering that 350 gap. I didn't sell it at 300. I have a small position. I might add more. It's got confirmation. The buy-in here at 258. It's got confirmation on the 4-hour. If you look at the 65-minute and we just run this one on the 65-minute, you're in down here at 240. And you're going to cover this gap. You're above that 200-day right now on the 65-minute. 200 days at, You got above that 200-day. Wow, this 65-minute candle, look, it opened up at 297, and it's down at 276. People are taking profits. This one, I don't mind holding for a little bit. I will put a stop loss in so that I don't wind up losing money, but I don't even know what I got it for. Let's look at Savvy Trader. Let's go back. Am I losing money on this one now? Because I bought it late in the day. I didn't buy it early in the day. Let's go to the trading portfolio. We'll go to history. And SMCI, I bought at 278.55. I'm losing money on this one. Whew, I took a winning trade into a loss. So yes, I should have sold that one. But I don't, this one, I think it's still got confirmation. I think people are taking profits. I think it's fine. For me, I'll probably hold on to that little bit that I have. I will probably put a stop loss around, let's see, on this 4 hour. I will put probably a stop loss, I would say around 240. If I get down to 240, I'll probably just take the loss and try and dollar cost average or buy something else. So, but I'll include all of that stuff in the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter. If you are new here, all of the links that I mentioned, they're in Linktree, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. The charts that I show, it's on TrendSpider, 25% off. I give you my algorithms, the 65-minute, the 4 hour. I give you all the watch lists that I have. I give you the scans that I have, 100%. The one link that I think you should click on is Webull right here. Webull is a fantastic app. I love the app. If you're in Robinhood, get the hell out. Robinhood's got nothing. I think Webull is just night and day compared to Robinhood. Savvy Trader, there's the link right there. The newsletter is down here. You can get all the links right there. The newsletter, I think it's the best part of this podcast. Sign up for free, dailystockpick.substack.com. So I will be back tomorrow. I will be putting ice on my head. I have a ton in that newsletter. Sign up for that newsletter today because there is going to be a ton. I'm going to put it together right now. So, okay. Take care of you guys. I will talk to you later. Wow, 50 minutes. Say bye. Nathan, I should have totally got out of that SMCI, but oh well. It was after hours. What's going on? Hey, Nathan, you're my 1,000 YouTube subscriber. Congrats, man. You want free access to the newsletter, Nathan? Nathan, here. If you want free access to the newsletter, I'll give you a free lifetime subscription. Go over to Linktree, linktr.ee/dailystockpick. Hopefully you have a, you know what? Can you message me on YouTube? I don't know if you can message me on YouTube. I'd like to give you something for being 1,000. The 1,000th. Let me see, is my portfolio up? Let's see. I get this house ready for the housekeepers who's coming too. Wow. How in the world am I down? All positions, probably Apple. Yep, it's Apple. Apple's down 0.62. AMD's down 2%. Wow. Holy shit. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised at SMCI. Nathan, how can I get in touch with you? You know what, Nathan? Hit me up in the Facebook group. Go over here. Go to Facebook or Instagram from your Facebook or Instagram if you have socials. If you've got socials, I'll give you a lifetime subscription for free to the newsletter, the paid one, for being 1,000. It's an $80 value, but soon it will be probably $100 value as I up that one. Oh, thanks, Scott. Scott's so nice. Scott's like super nice. I think for me, it's worth it. For me, the way I write the newsletter is I put myself, okay, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, what would I want to hear in my trading journey? Because I am probably more extended than most people in my trading journey. And when I say trading journey, it's the number of years that I've done this. And I don't care if you've done this for 40 years, if you don't change, like Jim Cramer, the fucker's just a dinosaur. I'm not a fan. He doesn't change. He kind of relies on, just his contacts to tell him what's going on. Like, for instance, when he cried, when Mark Zuckerberg came on and said things are going great, and then the earnings were horrible from Facebook. And Jim Cramer's like, the hubris. And the fucker's crying on air. Yeah. Stop trusting fucking Mark Zuckerberg, dude. Maybe if somebody doesn't come on your show, like Elon Musk doesn't come on your show. But Nathan, get in touch with me some way. Go to the link tree. Some way that I can confirm that it's you, whether it's email, YouTube. I think you can message me. Let me see. Let me look at your hold on. I'm going to look at your profile to see if you've got an email address on your let's see, Nathan. I'm going to like that comment. At Connor Nathan Play, public subscriber. Let me see. Let's go to your about. You don't have an email up there. But get in touch with me, Nathan. I'll set you up. And thanks for subscribing. I'm telling you, it's a good newsletter. Maybe, Scott says so. I think so. Sweet. Hit me up there. You can message me. Or you can just post a comment with your email address if you want. It's a private group. The Facebook group's private, and I do keep it rather tight. So you can always post something, but you can just message me in there too. You can put a comment down something with your email address. So that I need your email address so that I can add you. Okay. As long as you're in there. I can message you. But I do need an email address because I think that's the way Substack works. Okay. And with that, I think I'm out of here because I've got to do a ton of work on this newsletter. Thank you, Nathan, for being my 1,000th. Thank you, Scott, for always supporting me. Thank you, Nevin, for calling me G-Money. Thank you, Brandon, for introducing me to IONQ. Thank you, Zephan, for being a day one. I talked to Sherry. Sherry and I emailed back and forth yesterday. She is in Vegas on a balcony looking at mountains. So I'm jealous. Okay. But with that, I am out. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow. And let's hope that people don't I mean, the sell-off just, if we look at, this is what's crazy. I mean, I can't believe SMCI sold off that quickly. But let's look at the Qs. Because the Qs, if we go to the Qs on a 5-minute, you got to answer the question, Nathan. Hold on, let me go to Facebook. I'll let you in. I'll approve it. Let's see. I don't usually approve people because I never know. I say members. Okay, Nathan, you're all set. You're in there. It says new members this week. You're in. So message me. No, thank you. But okay, let's look at Qs in the 5s. So here's a 5-minute chart of the Qs. Yeah, look. I mean, you opened at 372. You're at 369. So shit's just getting sold off. And you know what's not getting sold off? Like I told you, Goldman Sachs. Let's look at the book value of Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs book value, if you want to know, it's 309. Fucker's trading for 326. And it's crossing. See? Let's run the 4-hour. You're going to get a cross up here on Goldman Sachs below the 200-day. Yeah, Scott, here. This is it. Here, I'll give you guys this. This is going in the newsletter. Read that one. It'll scare the bejesus out of you. And remember, VOO is the S&P 500. This author's saying sell it before September. I do think that we're in a bounce. I think there's going to be a bounce. I think NVIDIA was just a sell-off. I mean, you're at 482. NVIDIA is going to be a buy again. Remember, it did this on the last earnings. It did this. Look, this one opened at 385. It closed at 387. It went all the way down to 366 on that afternoon, on that morning candle after earnings. You're doing the same thing. Let's see. That was a 0.47%. This is a 4%. So you're even having it more extreme. Right now you're at 483. Your low's at 480. So you're putting in some type of support into this. It opened up. I mean, you're basically closing this gap. The gap here is between, it closed yesterday at 471. So you're closing that gap. I think you could actually come down to this gap, 435. I'm going to buy more. I'm going to load up on this one. Again, I'm going to load up on NVIDIA. I'm not going to buy it all in one chunk. I'm going to load up on it. I sold it at 500. I'm going to load up on it. I think, my guess is, this gap right here, 459 to 464, if we touch that, I'm in. But I'm waiting a couple of days. I'm not buying into this hype. Look at the RSI. The RSI is at 67. Why would I buy into that hype when the catalyst is gone? So, yeah. But SMCI, mistake made. I think that one's probably got some downside to go. But I do think that one covers this gap as well. You're at 272. I bought at 278 yesterday. Should have sold at about 300. It got up to about, I think, 310 in the pre-market. But this one's not oversold. This one, or overbought. This one's, the RSI is at 49. And the MACD is super low. So this one's not crazy to hold on to think that you can cover this gap. And I think you will cover this gap. So the valuation is not nuts on this one. So, okay. I'll talk.